Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Dill, there is a lot of chaos in this sport, but one thing we can lean on every Sunday afternoon is getting a fresh batch of the AP Poll Top 25. We have plenty to discuss. And I put my hand up real quick and blow off some steam right off the bat so I can be a little bit more level-headed for the next 20 minutes. And I'm a Michigan fan. Many of y'all know that. Michigan making the top 25. And we're leaving USC off this list is an absolute crime. Are we going to pretend that not 7 days ago Michigan went on the road and played USC and USC absolutely put belt to bottom? Dill, I get it. USC lost on the road to what I think is a very good Notre Dame team. That's probably a better team than the 12th best team in the country. I don't know how we can just forget. Look, if the USC-Michigan game was played week 1, and we've seen these teams change and morph and get better, okay, maybe you can make that argument. The fact that we just saw this game get played 7 days ago and we're dropping USC out of the top 25 and we're putting Michigan back in the top 25 is an absolute crime. All right, I've blown off some steam. Let's get into the top 25. Before we do, and as always, y'all let it fly in the comment section. There is a reason this is my favorite episode to do every single week. Hey, y'all just let it rip in the comment section. We gonna let it rip for the next 20 minutes. Let it fly. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Dill, without further ado, I'm gonna put you on the tee box here. The most underrated team in the country, according to the AP Poll Top 25. What you got for us?
I think it's got to be Miami.
Look
at the way Miami lost that game to Louisville. They not play a clean game, and they do take too many penalties. It put them in a hole in that game. Carson Beck threw 4 interceptions to top that off, and they still were right in that game with a chance to win it at the end. I think that's a big overreaction.
Yes.
I don't see that fundamental flaw. I look at a team like Georgia, their front seven, it's just playing at a very middling level, and that's very hard to be a good defense when you have that type of output from your defensive line, especially. And you don't have the luxury of probably being super aggressive because, frankly, their boundary corners aren't playing particularly great either. So I know Georgia's offense is much more exciting, and it is giving them a chance to stay kind of in the mix, if you will. But Miami, to me, it's a much more complete team. I look at an Ole Miss, even a Georgia Tech. Do we really think that those teams are better than Miami right now? I don't really.
Just a monster overreaction. Less than 4 days ago, we were talking about Miami looking like a bona fide national championship contender. What happened there was, and this is on Mario Cristobal, we got to stop doing this, man, because we see it every single year. You see Miami come out, look unprepared for a football game. Well, we got that Friday night. You said it best. There are no flaws that this team cannot overcome. You got to run the football better, got to take care of the football better as well. But I am with you. You look at a team like Georgia and say, there are flaws on this roster that I don't know if they're going to get fixed. I look at Miami at 9 and say, this team has their roster. And we're kind of forgetting about how Miami looked the first half of the season, that win against Notre Dame week 1. They have some quality wins that they can point to as well. I do think it's a little bit of an overreaction. Now, on the flip side, you look at the Florida State win now, and then you look at the Florida win again and say, all right, well, maybe the wins don't look as impressive. We still have to use our eyeballs. And I think Miami's telling you that they're still a very good football team. Let's go to the top. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. The clear 3 teams that should be in the top 3 of these rankings. Would you make any changes to that top 3?
No, and I'm fine with it from a ranking standpoint. I suppose I'd probably power rate Texas A&M as the number 2 team. I think they have a better shot to win a national championship. That's just what I'm kind of seeing from an athletic standpoint, maybe a completeness standpoint. But I don't know. I'm not betting against Kurt Cignetti anymore. I think they've raised their top end talent closer to where it needs to be. I still kind of wonder, is it there to win enough games? Or is it there to give them a great probability of winning every game? To get that.
See, but they definitely showed you. And Dill, they're answering some of the big questions we had about Indiana too, right? And here's the thing I love about Indiana is I just know what I'm going to get, man. You're going to see them go out there, play clean football, and do their job. You can't say that for a lot of these other teams that even you see in the top 10. I do love Texas A&M though, and there will be people that look at the box score and say, well, they got into a dogfight against Arkansas. Number one, that Arkansas team is like 4 points away from being like a 5-2 ball club. Number two, that Arkansas offense is one of the best in the country. I almost came away more impressed with Texas A&M because they got kind of dragged into a shootout and showed, hey, we comfortable there too. Or we can run the football and play good defense when we need to win a game that way. But if you want to turn this into a track meet, we have the firepower to go blow for blow with any offense in the country. That because you've seen Texas A&M do that a couple of times. Saw them go on the road and do that to Notre Dame as well. This Texas A&M team, man, it's legit. All right, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon. There's that next group of three. We already said Georgia feels like the odd man out. They don't look like a top 5 team in the country, but I will say this. In a year of college football, where the games are going to be razor close, like, do you trust any other program or any other coach in the country to win those kind of games? You don't. Like, Kirby Smart just knows how to get it done when the moment's the biggest. I want to ask you about Alabama and Oregon. Like, those two teams feel like, I'll put it simply, Alabama, Oregon, neutral site next Saturday. What team are you taking in that one?
I'm probably slightly into Alabama because I think Alabama's offensive line's really coming along. I just probably have more faith in the offense. Like, I don't really see teams stopping this Alabama offense right now because if they can protect the passer, I think their wideouts are the best in the country. And I'm not sure it's frankly particularly close with the way a guy like Jeremy Bernard's playing. Ryan Williams finally looked the part last night against Tennessee, like back to his 2024 stuff. I still wonder about that defense. There are some moments where that front seven plays really poorly, but I probably just have more faith in the.
I'm going to take Oregon. I'm going to push back on you. And I don't even think you believe in that argument all that much. I think this is not a shot at Alabama because they look like a really good football team. I feel like Oregon's more complete.
But they have a bit of an identity crisis maybe on off. Like, I don't know.
Why?
When they got dragged into that soup against Indiana, it felt like they couldn't really figure out what they wanted to look like. They didn't have that thing to get to in those tough moments.
I think they did. See, I would disagree. I think they did have a thing they could get to. They chose not to get to it.
But that's a problem. If that's your mentality in those moments, like Alabama, they know what they're going to be and they're going to make it happen, I think.
Yeah, but Alabama's still struggling to run the football at times. We have question marks about how disruptive that defensive line can be. Hey, both of these teams are national championship contenders. The boys are getting a little bit nitpicky here. Georgia Tech at 7. Let's just say it how it is. That's
they got dominated by Duke somehow and came away with that win. I don't know.
Dominated in the first half against Duke. They played a good second half, but I think we all can agree. Does Georgia Tech look like the 7th best team in the country? Probably not. Do they deserve to be maybe ranked as the 7th best team in the country? You could make that argument. Ole Miss at 8 feels a little high for me. Like, we had question marks about Ole Miss being in the top 5 for the last couple of weeks. What's your take on Ole Miss after what you saw against Georgia?
Yeah, I think it kind of showed, if you will, maybe like that issue with their top end ability on defense. Like, they just don't have any guys who are. It's honestly similar to like where Georgia's at, where both just don't have defensive players who are putting their stamps on a game and maybe the way you need to, and also like don't have that great unit. Like Alabama, I know you probably have some issues with some moments of their defense. That secondary is like really, really good. I do feel like they can lean on it at times. Ole Miss, I don't know, to get run up and down on like that against Georgia.
Yeah, and that's what I would say is, look, I think Georgia's offense is good. I don't know if it's 510 yards, 40-plus points good, right? And so it's like that Ole Miss defense, we had question marks about, like, point to me the NFL draft pick on defense. I don't know if you can outside of maybe Sunterian Perkins. You kind of saw that against Georgia, right? It's hard to win games when you really struggle. I think we thought that Ole Miss defense was better than it was because it gave LSU's offense some problems. I think that spoke a little bit more to LSU's offensive woes than it did Ole Miss's defense. Vandy at 10, man. Clark Lee's got, I mean, it's hard to argue at this point.
It's really hard to argue against
and
them.
It is such you talk about a team that just knows what they are and knows how they want to win and has a winner at quarterback. That's Vanderbilt, top 10 team in the country. BYU at 11. That the Big 12.
Now, let's be frank; those are not better teams than Notre Dame. Neither of them.
Notre Dame beats
You
BYU by
throw that in
21
there
points.
too.
Straight
Like
up.
Notre Dame is a really good football team. I mean, again, they lost to two of the better teams in the country by like combined like 4 points or whatever it was. Like this Notre Dame team,
really good.
The offense is about as complete as you'll find, I think, in college football. I think you see like CJ Carr played really poorly against USC. Didn't really matter because they can put the ball on the ground. Like, but also we've seen a lot of really good CJ Carr. This is an unbelievable offense. The defense might be figuring it out a little bit. I was kind of more impressed in that USC effort than I've probably been all year. And there's still a ways to go. I wasn't wowed necessarily, but it's not like the liability it looked like early.
And this is a Notre Dame team that I think is getting better, which is really important. We talk about that all the time. It's a freaking important conversation to have in this era of the sport. Like you're not going to see teams routinely run the table. We're not going to see a lot of 12-0 football teams over the next decade of this sport. It's about like what teams can take their losses, get better, and become the best team in January. Very similar to what you saw from Ohio State last year. I'm just going to say this, Dill. Like I'm getting really damn close to putting Notre Dame in that national championship contender category. I think they're a really good football team. Oklahoma at 13, kind of working their way back. Really bad second half against Texas. But I'll say this about Oklahoma, man. Got a really solid quarterback with a really good OC. You ran the football pretty damn good on the road against South Carolina, which is really their biggest bugaboo. And you got a defense that was varsity versus modified right there. I don't know if varsity versus JV. Like that Oklahoma defensive line versus that South Carolina offensive line, I felt very bad for Lenore Sellers. Oklahoma, very good team. I think probably a little bit underrated, maybe.
Yeah, and it's hard to really bang the table because now you're looking at their wins and saying like, well, spot the great one, spot the one that is going to comfortably put me up like in that 7 to 8 range. Because that's frankly where I feel like their power rating might be. But do I feel good about putting them over like a team like Vandy right now?
No. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Has the better wins.
That's fair enough, especially because like that Texas team.
Not good.
It's like Jekyll and Hyde, man. It's like I
but like not really because it's like their top end hasn't looked incredible. They had one like good half against.
They should have lost that game, by the way.
That's the only time we've ever seen anything particularly good.
I know, but dude, that second half against Oklahoma, like kind of had me bought in again. I picked them to win the national championship in August, and I'm back out. Texas Tech at 14. Backup quarterback loss on the road against Arizona State. Missouri at 15, figuring out a way to win against Auburn on the road. You like it? Can we talk about
where they belong? I wouldn't argue at all to have them any higher, frankly, and even power rating wise, that's probably where I have them. I don't see it as a national championship contender or even.
Yeah, I think that's really fair.
Even probably an SEC contender, realistically. I'm not sure I see that, but they're a good, solid SEC squad. That's where like them and Tennessee are very similar right now. Both have some flaws that I think are going to prevent them from really competing at the top end, but good, like well-established programs almost. Just like
hey, can we talk about Virginia at 16? With like we're kind of hanging on to the Florida State win a little bit. Florida State just lost on the road against Stanford. Like that's one where it's like I know people don't like to move teams down after they lose. Or I should say, I know the voters don't like it. You put Virginia at 20 after they beat Florida State. They've won the last couple of weeks, so you're slowly moving them up. Can we go look at Florida State and be like, well, is Virginia actually the 16th best team in the country? LSU at 20. Dill, where's the win, man?
And like even when you're watching them, it's like, oh, that was kind of gross. Like just like a really undisciplined performance from the defense, and they need that unit to be like awesome because like they don't have it on offense. I think like that just is what it is. That offensive line is really, really bad. That defense, I mean, they had a lot of shots. They were put in a pretty good position. You just got to play some like you got to break down, make some tackles. They could not do that at all against that Vanderbilt team. And I know it's a tough quarterback to deal with, but like. Still, that was really unimpressive.
I mean, at some point, we got to be like, all right, where's that really impressive win for LSU? It's not there anymore, man. Like Clemson just lost to SMU. I know with a backup quarterback, but we kind of know what Clemson is right now. Florida just fired their head coach. I don't. And again, like Florida battled LSU and DJ Lagway through 5 picks. Michigan at 25. You want to open it up?
I'm not gonna stump for Michigan. It's like, again, they're still trying to find their level. I feel like they play really good at times, they play really bad at times. You see it within game, even like bad halves and then really good halves.
Yep.
It's still like a young team that just like before
Yeah.
I really buy in, like you need to see them find that level.
Yep.
Almost like what Alabama's found. Like I felt like
that's
in
fair.
Florida State, it took like, okay, that wasn't particularly great. As Alabama's worked their way through the season, I think they've figured out what they're going to do, and they do it really, really well. Michigan is kind of not there yet. I don't know what their offensive identity exactly is. Like, do they want to lean into Bryce Underwood more? Do they want to just run the ball? They got to figure out some.
That was the best offense we've seen from Michigan all year. Against what's the quality? Like that's the thing that has me slightly buying back. I do think Washington's really good, and I thought Michigan played a very complete football game. That was the best Bryce's looked. They were able to run the football, got their tight ends involved on offense, played quality defense behind it. That's the team to circle, right? Because I look at LSU and say, don't you feel like we kind of know what LSU is? You're looking at Michigan saying that you're still trying to figure out what they can be in the back half of the year. But if you get that version of Michigan and they continue to get better, because you said it best, a young football team. It's not only a true freshman at quarterback, it's multiple redshirt freshmen that are starting on the offensive line. One of your best pass catchers is a true freshman. It's a young football team. What can this team be over the next couple of months? It's one of those teams that I'll say this, I feel like can take some strides as we get into the back half of 2025 in ways that I don't know if a team like LSU can do so. All right. Well, we'll close it out there.
Well, before we,
okay.
Is Louisville like?
Yeah, it's a good team. Second best team in the ACC.
Like quite good, and that front seven, I was extremely. Those linebackers are incredible. Clev Lubin is a really dynamic pass rusher and disruptive player. I don't know. I know Louisville's like I don't know exactly what to make of them, but like ranking wise, I'd probably have them a little higher.
And Dill, here's the thing: is where's their one loss? Like I actually got a backstep because Virginia. I said Florida State was their best win. Virginia. The Virginia's best win is Louisville.
Louisville pounded Virginia, didn't they, for the most part, and they just kept giving up like offensive touchdowns or something.
Yeah. Louisville's good. Louisville, to me, eyeball test, second best team in the ACC.
And like Chris Bell is an unbelievable wide receiver. I was wowed by what he was.
And like Miller Moss is a solid fit for Coach Brom. Like I don't think Miller Moss is a world beater or anything, but like he fits what Coach Brom wants to do. We know Coach Brom can dial it up on offense, and that defense is legit. They stopped the run. They got after Carson Beck. They forced turnovers, and that's what they've been doing all year on defense. That defense is sneaky, really good under Ron English. All right, I like that. Happy you brought up Louisville. That was not a team we should have skipped because I think they're the second best team in the ACC. I don't know if they beat Miami if you run back that game, but I think Louisville's really good. Appreciate you guys. Let it fly in the comment section. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.